Hey, y'all, Elise Smith here, and welcome to the Socially Ausome Podcast, where we empower mompreneurs to implement simple social media strategies into their businesses and elevate their online presence. I'm a mompreneur of three, an affiliate marketer, a network marketer, an influencer, a social media marketing agency owner, and your personal guru. I am here to give you tips, tricks, and tools that you need to build your social media business. Let's dive in. Hey, everybody. It's Elise Smith here, back with the Socially Ausome Podcast. I'm so excited today to be hosting Kat Griffith. Welcome, Kat. How are you?
Hi, I'm fantastic, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be releasing a series of interviewing female entrepreneurs, and I'm here today. I want to hear your story. So tell me a little bit about what you do.
Well, I do several things. In my job, I am a therapist. And the interesting thing is I used to train horses professionally. So I had show horses, the kids, the string, all the things. So this is my second career, but business has always been part of my blood. And so as a social worker and as a therapist, you end up employed. And I did not want to go into business for myself and have to deal with insurance and that kind of thing. So I got involved in a health and wellness company a couple of years ago, and that's been phenomenal. What I found was I really wanted to work with women specifically, and it's kind of where my heart lies. And so I have started a coaching business, and that is what I am doing right now.
That is awesome. So I am going to have a side conversation with you about training horses, though, because I'm intrigued.
Okay.
I have looked into hippotherapy, but you and I can have a side convo about that.
Okay.
I love that. So tell me, what style coaching you're doing, because there's life coaching, there's business coaching, there's all the different coaching. What are you looking to coach women on, and what problem are you going to help them solve?
So I am a transformational coach. So kind of my superpower is helping people see their blocks. And I specifically really love working with women, and it's probably because it was me a while back. Like, what is stopping you from hitting the next level? What is stopping you from taking action? And so helping women get through that, over that, past that, however you want to view it, and just kind of watching the light bulb go off and watching them shine really lights me up. And so really it's transformational coaching with a specific emphasis on women and entrepreneurs.
That's awesome, because as a female entrepreneur, there's so many blocks, right? And I have only been in full-time entrepreneurship for 3 or 4 months, and there's money blocks. I have doubts. There's imposter syndrome. I have my own blocks, my own thoughts about I'm not capable of doing something. And it's hard because there's not a support system. So it's kind of cool that they're all in one support system. It can help them realize, okay, these are just thoughts. They're not,
just because we think it doesn't make it true.
That's cool. And that's therapeutic, which is ideal because of your past career. So tell me about your coaching business. What would it look like for your client? Are they going to meet with you weekly, monthly? Are there options? What does that ideal client look and need? And what will they get from you out of your services?
Yeah, great question. So I am in the process of creating a 6-week boot camp, which will be a small group coaching program, and will involve, I believe, 3 individual sessions. Obviously, people can pay for more than that if they want. But they also have the benefit of being in this group of other women who are also doing the same work. And there's such beauty and power in groups coming together and helping each other. I did a soft launch about a month ago with a challenge that I did actually, and have done a little bit of individual coaching from that. So the 6-week boot camp, though, is really kind of the great starting point. And then I will be building it from there.
That's awesome. So you mentioned groups, which as female entrepreneurs, we know is important. It's important to have a container to keep like-minded people in, because it's so often, especially building on social media, pre and post pandemic, but so often we get stuck in the scroll hole, or like utilizing social media for your actual business. You said you did a soft launch. Do you have a community of women that you've already kind of brought together that my audience could be interested in joining? And if so, what do y'all do in there? Do you go like weekly lives? You said you do challenges in there. What does your community look like? What does Kat's community look like?
Kat's community is called Soulful Ambitions, and it's getting a little bit of a rebrand right now, because it does not specify that it's for female entrepreneurs. Okay. But what it is, and what it does specify, is that it is really for people who are looking to level up their lives in whatever way that looks like. And so from my perspective, my big thing is that if we can learn to approach life with curiosity and a sense of adventure, we have to gain confidence to be able to take risks. But our confidence comes from taking small risks, to do new things, to meet new people. We do the scary things and our self-esteem and our confidence go up. And so that group is really all about like latching onto that idea and gaining a sense of purpose and really kind of figuring that out as we go. I go live weekly, and we are now set to do monthly challenges. We've got a new one coming up. Last month was great. We did one called Igniting Your Mega Attractor Mojo. That was so fun.
That is a powerful name. I like it.
So fun. It was so fun. And that's how the people that are now coaching with me found me, really. Right. And just because of that challenge. And so it was really amazing. And our next one is The Power of No, which is for the people pleaser in us. And so
everyone's got some sort of, the majority, especially of women, have some sort of people pleasing element.
Absolutely.
And yes. I write my goals out, and I'm not the best with consistency. That's been my major goal for 2020. I start things and I get bored, or I ADD off and I don't finish them. And so consistency was my main goal for 2022. But I also had on the goals that I wrote, I'm going to start saying no. And I know that's not really a smart goal, because I didn't say how many times, or, but sure. I wrote it down, because I have got to stop just agreeing to everything. It's taking a lot out of me. So I'm excited for you to launch that challenge.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
I think all women, and then especially mothers, we get very used to, and I'll say this, and if anybody watches this, whether it be the video or the podcast, don't report me. But, like a fundraiser came home from my kid's school yesterday, and it was one of those things where it's like, I would have put 100 hours into raising it so my kid could get that free hula hoop or whatever. And I'm like, it's time for some other moms to step up. Like, I will donate. I will, and that sounds terrible. And all the teachers are going to come after me, I'm sure. I know my plate is too full right now. And that's okay. And it's okay to say no. And it's something as simple as that. Like when the wrapping paper comes home, I'll buy a couple things of wrapping paper, but I used to be the one that would go door to door. And it's, you got to figure out the balance. I'm like, I volunteer a lot. So I gotta say no. So I will definitely be looking for that challenge.
Awesome. And it comes from a genuine place. I'm not creating anything that I haven't had to figure out. Right. And so I'll tell you a quick story, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
So I used to work in a women's rehab for substance abuse. And I loved it. It was funny, when I was in school, I said, I am not doing two things. I'm not doing case management, and I'm not working in substance use. Well, that didn't work out so well.
Right. Didn't work out.
But I loved it. But it taught me how to set boundaries. my office was where people could come knock on my door. And for about the first year and a half, I was always available.
Yeah.
And I was dying.
Yeah.
And so I really had to learn that setting boundaries doesn't say anything about my desire to help or my need for approval. It says that I need this time and I need to uphold my own boundaries. So that's.
And no, I love that you said that, because I had that conversation with someone this week, actually, a family member. And it was a comment that was said that I don't, answer my phone all the time. And I said, well, I have clients, I have a business I'm running. I mean, just because I work for myself doesn't mean I'm not allocating a certain amount of hours to my business. And I will call you back after 5. And it was a hard conversation to have, because it's very hard, especially when it comes to family, to say that's saying no, that's setting boundaries. And I know that it appears I'm available at all times because I work on Facebook, and like my Facebook always shows I'm active, but setting those boundaries. So I love that you touched on that.
And it's especially from family. That's where it's the hardest, because it's where we learned it.
It is. And we've gotten to a point where things are so easy to contact people, like a text. People expect that immediate response.
Yep.
And one thing I've learned is, if you give it an hour, people will go find the answer on their own. They'll help you're really helping them by letting them help themselves. But 2, I get too distracted, and I've got to time block. I've got to set boundaries, and I love that you touched on that. So is there anything else you would like my audience to know? I will make sure in the show notes, people can access your community so that they can join your Power of Saying No challenge. They can find you on social to follow you, because I'm inspired. Just these few minutes we've talked today, I'm inspired to figure out my own blocks, because I know they're there. I'm a confident woman, but I know they're there. And
the first thing you said was money blocks.
Money blocks is my big one.
I don't know how many of your not readers, but the podcast listeners have ever listened to Denise DT, but I remember when I read her book, I'm gonna curse here, sorry. Get Rich Lucky Bitch.
Okay,
perfect. And she gave an assignment at the very beginning of the book about clearing. And I sat down the very few time that I actually sit down to do something for myself, which is my goal for this year. And I wrote 7 pages. 7 pages. Now I'm the therapist, mind you. I'm the mindset person.
Yeah.
And I wrote 7 pages about my money messages through my life. And so it just really goes to show you, we are all working on things.
Yeah. And that book has been in my Audible wish list for a long time. So I'm writing myself.
Girlfriend, listen to it. No joke. I listened to it 3 times.
It's my weekend read. Get rich. It's in my Audible wish list, because I think I get 1 book a month or whatever with Audible.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And being an ADD person, I listen to it on 2 times speed. So I can finish a book in a couple hours. And I am going to get that today, because I've heard great things. I just, something else will come up and I'm like, oh, I want that one. Oh, I want that one. So that is my weekend read, and I'm going to message you on Monday and let you know what I thought. Because mindset is my biggest struggle personally. And it's just because I've struggled with knowing my worth, knowing my value, and knowing that I can bring in more income than I've been told I can, or my job valued me at, or whatever. So it's a lot of blocks there, but awesome. Well, I appreciate having you today.
I'm so glad to be here.
This will go on my podcast. So my listeners, you will be the first interview on my podcast.
Yay.
No, so I launched my podcast Tuesdays is tips, quick tip Tuesday. It's 10-minute episodes. And then on Thursdays are interviews. And you were the perfect first interview.
Oh, that's great. I'm so excited to be able to be the inaugural.
Well, you're so intuitive, and it's just so
this was so easy. So it's an easy conversation. You're a great person to talk to. And I hope my listeners take advantage of joining your community, because I think they will get a lot of value out of it. So
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Kat. Have a great
you.
weekend. And I will talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I'm Elise Smith, your host, and let me tell you how you can get a free social media audit from me. Make sure that your profile is optimized and you're ready to build. Take a screenshot of you listening to this episode, throw it in your stories and tag me. You can find my handle in the show notes. I will share it to my entire audience, and you will be entered to win one of the 5 free audits that I'll be doing every single month. Number 2, if you found any value out of this episode or any of my episodes at all, please feel free to leave a review. It is the best compliment you can give. Lastly, make sure you check out the link to get into my free community, Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs. It's in the show notes. We go live in there weekly with guest trainings and more. Until next time, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome.